New York, NY Times. The MacArthur Foundation said on Wednesday, December 20, it was awarding $100 million $134 million, to Sesame Workshop and the International Rescue Committee to create early childhood development programs for Syrian refugees. It will focus on displaced children in Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, and Syria, seeking to reach them at a key time for brain development. If we're not giving them the tools to overcome toxic stress, that trauma in those early years, the research shows the repercussions are lifelong, said Ms. Sherry Weston, Sesame's Executive Vice President for Global Impact, in an interview on Thursday. The 5-year grant offered by one of the largest private foundations in the United States will fund a localized version of Sesame Street, distributed through television and digital devices, and home visits using Sesame Street content for an estimated 1.5 million children. Instead of the stars that Americans grew up with, like Big Bird, Elmo, and Oscar the Grouch, the characters would be tailored to the region, speaking Arabic and Iraqi Kurdish. Sesame Workshop expects to reach 9.4 million children, teaching them language, reading, math, and social skills. The company said the Muppets would model inclusion and respect, and gender equity, and they will provide engaging educational messages, always from a child's perspective. Ms. Weston said having characters that children can relate to makes the children more receptive to the lessons. You could envision a Muppet with a storyline where they have to leave their home, or lives in a tent, or becomes best friends with a neighbor, she said. Though billions of dollars are spent on refugee aid each year, just 2% goes toward education, and just a sliver of that goes toward early childhood intervention, said Mr. David Miliband, president of the International Rescue Committee, in an interview Thursday. Money tends to flow toward immediate needs like food and medical supplies, leaving education behind. But refugees are often displaced for years at a time, making education an overlooked need, he said. If the program is successful, the organizations would hope to adapt it for other refugee crises, Mr. Miliband said. While the grant would create the first Sesame Street expansion to be focused on refugees, Sesame Workshop has created local versions in India, Afghanistan, and South Africa. We're determined to create a proven model of early childhood intervention that can then be used for refugees around the world, he said. Sesame Workshop also broadcasts Ifta Yasimzim, which translates as Open Sesame, in the Persian Gulf, and has worked in Jordan, Egypt, Palestine, Israel, and Turkey.